The VHS shelf. What a relic from a time long lost. It's pretty wild for me to think about the fact that there might be people watching this video right now who are too young to remember a time when VHS tapes were the standard home video format. I'm not talking about how long they existed. I don't think they faded out completely until like 2005 or something. No, I mean a time when they were the format. I was born in 1989, so I grew up with these things being absolutely everywhere. And I gotta say, there was a strange kind of magic to VHS tapes that I do sometimes kind of miss. There was a weight to them when you popped them in the machine that made watching a movie feel like an event. Having to rewind or watch a bunch of trailers built anticipation. And in a time before streaming services allowed us to watch basically anything at any time, you only had whatever was on the VHS shelf when you wanted to see a movie. So you watched them over and over until you got intimately familiar with them. And if they were movies your whole family enjoyed, they practically became part of the family that way. I'm not saying this to make some kind of big movies were better before streaming argument, because that's grumpy old man bullshit, but having that limited selection really did mean that you developed a special relationship with certain movies that would then go on to become some of your all-time favorites. One of these VHS favorites for me back in the day was the sci-fi comedy film Evolution, which I already talked about on this channel forever ago. But another favorite of mine was Small Soldiers. You know, the other living toy movie of the 90s.
Got a friend in me. You got a friend in me.
Ah, Small Soldiers. While Woody and Buzz Lightyear went on wacky adventures at Pizza Planet and some kid's backyard, the Commando Elite and the Gorgonites were having epic lethal battles on suburban front lawns, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Small Soldiers came out in 1998, directed by Joe Dante, who was no doubt trying to recapture some of that Gremlins magic. It seems like the dude just has a thing for tiny monsters. And this story about plastic action figures going to war with each other kind of middled with critics at the time, who weren't sure who it was actually made for. It was originally intended as an edgy teenage film, but once producers saw marketing potential in the toy characters, they asked to have the edginess dialed back. But did so way too late into production, leaving it impossible to tone things down quite as much as they wanted. This meant that, at least according to distributors, the movie became very difficult to market properly and didn't make quite as much money as hoped as a result. But I loved it, and I still have very fond memories of it, despite the fact that I haven't watched it in at least a decade. So, what do you say we reconnect with our childish spirits and play with some of our old toys? The film begins with two toy designers, Irwin and Alan, whose company has recently been bought up by a mega conglomerate called Globotech. The two go to pitch some new toy lines to the company's CEO, Giles Mars, played by stand-up comedian Dennis Leary of all people, but he's unimpressed with the idea of the Gorgonites, a race of monsters sent to learn about Earth in order to return to their own world.
Excuse me, did you say learn?
Learn, yeah.
Next.
He's much more into the other toy line pitch for a bunch of super macho military characters called the Commando Elite. He just has a few notes about the badass commercial, which come dangerously close to sounding like an actual Leary routine.
You know what I'm sick of? I'm sick of commercials that show us 4x4 trucks popping up to the top of Mount Rushmore and parking on top of Abraham Lincoln's head, okay? I'm sick of shampoo commercials that try to convince women they can look like Claudia Schiffer after one cycle of rinse and repeat. I'm talking about toys that are so smart when kids play with them, they play back. Toys, in short, gentlemen, that actually do what they do in the commercials.
You know, he's so obviously supposed to be a total asshole CEO, so I don't want to agree with him on anything, but he's kind of right on this one. I think we all remember being upset at the blatantly false advertising we saw in toy commercials as kids. Whatever goodwill he gets from that quickly dies, though, when he forces the two to repurpose the Gorgonites and turn them into the bad guys that the Commando Elite had to wipe out.
Sir, don't you think that's a bit violent?
Exactly. So don't call it violence. Call it action. Kids love action.
Kids know dick.
He even outrageously demands that they have walking, talking, learning war toys ready to sell in 3 months. So they better get started.
And these are your individual secret passwords. Please take a moment to memorize them now.
Mine's Gizmo.
I said secret.
Whoops.
In desperation, one of them searches the expanded Globotech hardware stock for surplus advanced microchips, and finds a whole bunch of scrapped military weapons-grade chips, because there's no way this can backfire, right? Regardless, production on the toys begins as the credits roll. I remember this sequence looking so cool when I was a kid, like, whoa, look at that! This is so futuristic, they're just sculpting toys out of nothing! There's no way! That's 200 years in the future at least! And now there are tons of people who have 3D printers in their home offices. Technology is wild, man! After this, we cut to our protagonist, Alan Abernathy, a young boy who's minding his father's toy store, which is failing since it refuses to keep up with popular toy trends. God, check out the curtains haircut on this kid. Someone's basing their entire identity on that one time they watched Terminator 2. Anyway, that's when the toy delivery guy Joe shows up, and hell yes, it's Dick Miller! You remember him, he's the cool old guy from Gremlins! Look, I'm sorry, I know I keep interrupting the movie for nostalgic rambling, but I love Dick Miller so much. I know he had a whole career long before I ever knew about him, but this is how I got to know him. Like this and in Gremlins, where he's that cool old guy we all wish we knew as kids. Ah, it's so good to see him again. Anyway, the two decide to take a peek at the new toys that Joe is delivering to a much bigger toy store, and are wildly impressed with their voice recognition abilities. So Alan gets a great idea. If Joe can fudge the papers and give him some of these toys early, he'll sell them before his dad comes home from a seminar, and finally make the store a bit of money. It's a flawless plan.
Okay, one whole set. I'll lose the paperwork someplace. It's better than I come back and bite me in the ass.
And taking brand new toys that haven't gone on sale yet out of the box just to show to some kid you know won't do that? You have a weird job, man. Aw, dude, check out those cardboard cutouts. They're rad as hell. I want them. What Alan doesn't notice is that the two leader toys have already started fighting whenever he isn't looking. And when he's talking to a neighbor girl named Christy, played by a young Kirsten Dunst, about a present for her little brother, they actually attack the kid. Which only makes him want them more. I honestly can't blame the kid, these things are super cool. With his first sale practically in the bag, Alan clearly thinks he has an in with Christy here. Right until she rides off with her boyfriend Brad. Oh god, listen to the music. Slow your roll, Tiger. You've talked to her for like a minute. There's nothing there yet. Once Alan makes it home, he discovers that the Gorgonite leader toy somehow ended up in his backpack.
Halt! Who goes there?
Greetings. I am Archer, emissary of the Gorgonites.
By the way, you'll never guess who voices Archer. That's freaking Frank Langella. You know, the guy who played Skeletor.
Back up, muscle boy.
Well, I mean, the live-action Skeletor, not the cartoon one. The cartoon noises are still fun to add, though.
What is your name?
I'm Alan. Now shut up. Gotta do my homework.
Greetings, Alan. Now shut up.
Looks like your jokes are just as corny as cartoon Skeletor, though.
Get out of my sight!
Oh, I almost forgot. We also get to meet Christy's dad, played by Philip Hartman. Apparently he just never stopped playing the complete asshole he wasn't Jingle All the Way. I swear this is basically the exact same character. I love it. That night, Archer uses Alan's computer while he sleeps and ends up seeing a lot of articles about war. But he also spots a picture of a tranquil lake that he declares to be his homeworld of Gorgon. Alan's not so happy about this, though.
If I find a virus in there, you're headed for the microwave.
Beware, there will be no mercy.
You threatening me?
I am Cornholio.
While this is going on, the Commando Elite leader Chip Hazard, awesomely voiced by Tommy Lee Jones, decides to activate his troops, who all have hilariously macho names.
Butch Meathook,
Flint, Iron Stag.
Nick Nitro,
Dirk, Hardpack.
Rick Bazooka,
Big, McLarge, Huge.
Link Static.
Buff Drink Lots.
Kip Killigan,
Crunch Butt Steak.
And they have exactly one black guy on the team. Truly an accurate depiction of 90s toy lines. He even gives this overblown motivational speech that's basically a mishmash of quotes from various war movies. And as hilarious as that is, it's not nearly as funny as the fact that he's standing in front of an American flag jigsaw puzzle. God, that must have been so boring to put together. With that, Chip commands his soldiers to attack the defenseless Gorgonites, leaving a gruesome scene for Alan to find the next day, including the broken pieces of a Gorgonite toy named Trucklocan. Yikes. He's in luck though, as Christy comes by and decides to help him clean up before his dad returns. This not only gives them a chance to bond, but it also gives the writers a chance to show how totally down with the kids they are.
So, do you ever watch that show, Family of Five?
I'm more of an X-Files kind of guy myself.
The truth is out there, Alan. You like Led Zeppelin?
Yeah, they're the greatest.
Generic 90s grunge song for everyone in Flanders.
We do learn a few more things about Alan though. The reason he tried pulling this toy trick in the first place is apparently because he's been enough of a troublemaker to get kicked out of 2 schools, and he's trying to make it up to his parents by doing well at the store. That's kinda nice if still wildly illegal.
I heard you called in a bomb scare on Parents' Day.
Yeah, that's when I got caught.
Dude, count your blessings. If you tried that trick like 3 or 4 years later, you'd probably have been shot. Unfortunately, Alan's dad comes home early and he's not fooled by their cleanup, although Christy does hide Archer in order to cover Alan's ass. How nice of her. Curiously though, all of Alan's dad's tools seem to have disappeared, because they've been repurposed by the Commando Elite in order to build all sorts of crazy gadgets and try to follow Alan home. It doesn't go so well for poor Brick Bazooka though.
Damn potholes.
Now don't you guys go thinking that this is the height of toy gore you're gonna see in this movie. No. You ain't seen nothing yet. Realizing that the toys are alive and violent, Alan tries to call the toy company, who are exactly as insanely unhelpful as all other real-life big company customer support. Naturally, this makes him pretty upset, and he settles on ignoring Archer for a while. Or at least he tries for a while, until he finds the Commando Elite about to lower him into the garbage disposal. He manages to fight them off in hilariously gruesome fashion, but of course they escape by the time his parents arrive. And they aren't too inclined to believe his story about killer toy soldiers.
Please. I need to ask you this. Are you on crank?
No!
Then is it crystal meth, tar, smack?
Mary Jane? Sticky Icky? Wacky Tobacco? Broccoli? Devil's Lettuce? Apple Jacks? West Coast Turnarounds? California Pancakes? Hamburger Helper? Scooby Snacks? Monkey Juice? Chicken Powder? Turns out, however, that the elites didn't actually kill all the Gorgonites. According to Archer, they're simply hiding due to having been programmed to lose any conflict with the elite, while still retaining their original explorer personalities that their designer intended. And sure enough, Alan finds them in the toy store garbage container the very next day. They've even somehow Frankenstein Troglocan back together. Nice. And by the way, am I the only one who thinks Giles Mars was like way off? The monster toys are way cooler than the soldier guys! Man, what I wouldn't give to have a Punch-It toy. Taking all the Gorgonites home, Alan then gets a call from Christy who wants to hear how things went. He of course takes this option to ask her on a date, completely unaware that the Commando Elite are listening in on their conversation and now plan to kidnap Christy as leverage.
So, listen, I was thinking maybe we should celebrate sometime. You know, go to a movie or something.
Alan, I only date older guys. It's nothing personal.
Whoa, okay, look, I don't know exactly how old this character is supposed to be, so I can't really comment on that, but, Now hold on to your hats, folks, cause this is where the movie starts getting nuts. In an elaborate scheme, the Commando Elite managed to drug Christy's parents and tie up her little brother, making their way to her room to plan an ambush. And once there, they find her collection of Wendy dolls, which they're quick to draft with a little bit of extra chip power. Huh, equal opportunity army. How progressive. And once Christy gets home, she's suddenly attacked by a horde of Cenobite-looking Barbie doll knockoffs. It's honestly pretty terrifying. This is not what I had in mind when I said I wish I could be covered in bitches. And it doesn't end well when her boyfriend Brad tries to save her either.
An officer and a gentleman does not strike a lady.
Huh. I feel like there's a liar joke in here somewhere. The elite soon lets their demands be known to Alan. Hand over the Gorgonites or Christy gets it. So he then shows up with the Gorgonites in a box out on Christy's lawn. But of course it's just a ruse so he can use Archer to get inside the house before the Commando Elite realize that all he brought them was a tape recorder with the Gorgonites' voices on it. He gets just as surprised by the Gwendy dolls as Brad was though.
You've been a bad boy, and now you must be punished.
Don't threaten me with a good time. Once he's fought them off, it's time for him and Christy to take some awesome revenge.
You're killing me!
Good.
Having caught on to the ruse by now, the elite shows up and starts firing flaming CDs at the kids as they flee. Wow, this film is anti-war and pro-burning CDs. That Joe Dante is quite the anarchist. You gotta love that once the elite starts a full-on assault on Alan and Christy, War by Edwin Starr starts to play. It's a very easy joke to make, proven by the fact that I've done it, but it's hilarious nonetheless. Escaping on Brad's scooter, since he's just apparently escaped from the movie by now, the two manage to get away from the soldiers and destroy them all after a particularly big leap blows up their vehicles. That is, all except for Chip Hazard. He soon washes up a bit further down the stream, right next to the toy shop where Joe is about to take back a bunch of Commando Elite toys that had been recalled after the military microchip fuck-up was revealed. Uh-oh. Back at Christie's house, both her and Alan's parents have gathered and are obviously pissed and bewildered at the whole situation. The toy designers then show up too, trying to get the situation under control after having heard Alan's earlier call to the company. Once the initial awe at meeting their own toy characters passes though, shit starts getting extra crazy as Chip returns with a whole army of Commando Elites, no longer content with just demanding their surrender. This time he's there to kill. And deliver some more 90s jokes while he's at it.
Yo, tell you what I want, what I really, really want. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. So tell me what you want.
What are they doing?
Psychological warfare.
The Marines did this against Noriega.
Oh, it was a simpler time. Back when making fun of the Spice Girls was the edgiest thing you could do. Alright, enough fucking around. We've arrived at the point everyone's been waiting for. The all-out toy war. And man, the Commando Elite just pulls out all the stops. They've somehow managed to create freaking nail gun cannons and fireball launchers, and it's just glorious.
Hey kid, don't you like 9-inch nails?
Weren't you paying attention? He prefers Led Zeppelin. Things get especially cool once Alan's mom kind of awesomely takes charge and just starts lobbing the fireballs back at the Elite. I just watched the Madame from Tank Girl blow up a fireball-lobbing tank with nothing but a tennis racket. The edgy 90s kid in me could not be more erect right now. The dad's pretty rad too. I mean, look at him go with that broom. This whole family is badass. Oh, and prepare yourself. It's coming up in 3, 2, 1. Yes! Apocalypse Now reference! Everybody empty their drinks! Watching all the carnage go on, the Gorgonites decide to fight their programming and actually fight back. And what do you know? They kick just as much ass as the rest of the Abernathy family. I still want the Punch-It toy, by the way. But all of this is just to give Alan time to snatch the win. See, the toy designers have discovered that the chips are vulnerable to electromagnetic pulse, and Alan has to try to get to the two Transformers outside and connect them with something metal in order to create one. And he almost makes it to the top of the power pole before Chip gets up there to stab Alan's hands to keep him away. So of course that's when Archer pops in for the rescue.
We're nothing alike. You are programmed to lose. I'm also programmed to learn.
Armed with a badass one-liner, Archer fights for long enough to give Alan time to grab Chip Hazard and shove him between the poles. Remember, he has a metal skeleton. And just like that, the Commando Elite step by step, heart to heart, left, right, left, all fall down like toy soldiers. Though, just for good measure. Whoa! Go Christie! Man, that's so badass. I'm almost willing to forgive you for being such a bitch in Spider-Man 3. Almost. Well, the Elite is finally defeated, and the next day Giles Marsh shows up and is quick to pay everyone involved a massive sum each in order to keep them quiet about his involvement. Plus find a way to repurpose the toys while he's at it.
What were we charging for these things?
$79.95.
Tell you what, add a few zeros to the end of that number, get in touch with our military division. I know some rebels in South America who are gonna find these toys very entertaining.
You know what? You really are an asshole.
Why don't you just shut up and sing the song, pal?
Also, $80 for an action figure? In 1998? Jesus, dude. But yeah, Giles actually just gets away scot-free from the whole thing with zero consequences, and is gonna profit like mad by selling the toys as weapons. I mean, I know he's not the one who put military hardware in the toys, but damn, that's kind of a ballsy move for a movie like this. Anyway, if you're worried about the Gorgonites, you don't have to be. Through the magic of plot convenience and bullshit, they were shielded from the pulse by Christie's dad's satellite dish, and the movie ends with Alan setting them off on a little boat so they can go look for somewhere they can call home. Roll credits. So yeah, I probably don't have to tell you what I think about this movie. You can probably tell by my face alone. It rules! Oh, it's a stupid movie in a lot of ways. The military chips are apparently just pure magic that can do whatever they need to do at any time. There's some dated jokes, yada yada yada. But come on, man, it's a movie about a suburban family getting attacked by G.I. Joe toys. I'd be disappointed if it wasn't kind of stupid. You know what it also is? Fun. Really fun. You can say whatever you want about the movie's obvious anti-war message. We're still watching an awesome action movie where toys attack people with all kinds of hilarious homemade weaponry. It's funny, it kicks ass, the toy characters look great, and I love it. It's not gonna stop being one of my favorites anytime soon, but let's just praise ourselves lucky that toys don't actually come to life and start attacking people. Right? Uh-oh. Hey folks, thank you for watching me ramble about small soldiers. Sorry this came out so late. Remember to click the like button and tell me about some of your old favorite VHS films. Well, if you're old enough to do that, I mean. Special thanks go out to Eli Cat, Warren Miller, Silvermoon Ravenwolf, and all my other patrons. You guys rule, and I'll tell you that every time. If you want to support me as well, you can find links to my Patreon page and my Ko-fi page in the description below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you happen to be new, so you can catch me next time with more crazy content. Bye bye!